Hey there, Drew Ribar, auditing Reno 911. So I'm following up on my cease and desist letter that I got from attorney Rachel Wise. And I'd really like to have a conversation with you and resolve the issues. And if you think that, we're, I'm not meeting my burden of proof, I'd really like you to do that. Just so everybody knows, it's been a couple of years. I've been trying to go to the Drag Queen Story Times in Washoe County, Nevada. I lost my library privileges for a year. I got trespassed out of the libraries because, well, I tried to go inside Drag Queen Story Time and see what they were doing in there, and they'd locked the library up to people they didn't like. So we filed a lawsuit, and the lawsuit's been going on for, almost a year now or something like that. I think anyways. And we're up to 249 filings in this lawsuit. The defense for Build Our Center, that's the people right there behind me. They're the local LGBTQ nonprofit 501c3. They were being represented, still are represented by a woman named Alison Kertis, Crest Business Law Group. Allison had some of her employees write affidavits about me that are false. My GPS data proves that I was somewhere else. I accused them of lying to the court. The court hasn't ruled on any of that yet. And so then shortly after that happened, we got this new law firm in here, a gal named Rachel Wise. So what my hope is we can all talk about what the case is, what I'm bringing forward, what my allegations are, and come to a settlement and resolve the issues. But, we're supposed to keep litigation to a minimum, conserve the court's time, communicate, all that good stuff. Isn't that what attorneys are supposed to be for? Representing you and solving the problem. But we don't seem to be doing that. Since this new law firm's come in, they've been filing just about a motion every single day against me, trying to overwhelm me. It's a huge 50-nation or 50-state law firm. And there we go. So my first question to you, Rachel, Ms. Wise. Since you represent our center, I thought I'd share some information with you. Let's see here. Where's my information I want to share? Get to the right screen. And there, I think that's part of it there. Let's get that up on the screen. Wrong one. Remove that one. There we go. Oops. That's what I wanted. Okay. So I got some emails, and Ms. Wise and everybody watching. So in my lawsuit, I've got to prove a few things for this Our Center, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that's not supposed to be involved in any politics or anything like that. It's against federal law for them to do that. But what you're seeing right here is an email. Scroll down here a bit so we can go backwards in time. And this is from the very beginning of when the library system in Washoe County, the beginning of the records that I've got. They've got an email here about Dry Story Hour, problems in California. And it's here's Jeff Scott. He's the old library director and a bunch of his employees. And basically what they're saying is that there were protests at Drag Queen Story Hours across the nation, and they're going to want to reach out to the police, and pretty much saying that you don't need to have security if people can't get into the library. So here's the library director, Jeff Scott. You don't need to have security if people don't, if the public can't get into the public library, you don't need to have security as much. They wanted frequent drive-bys by the police at their Drag Queen Story Hours. They were going to talk to Ben. He's the guy in charge of security with Washoe County. And They're talking about armed guards, need for voting and story times. I guess voting and story times are very dangerous things. Voting for our government's a dangerous thing, and story times are a dangerous thing, according to our library personnel. This one is from Pete Weinert at Washoe County. So, anyways, this is back in 2022. They're talking about this, and they didn't have a partnership with the Our Center people here behind me yet that I'm suing, but they did reach out to the Our Center people, and they started working together. And so here's the emails. They started talking together about. Let's see here. This email is about. Get this one up on the screen for y'all here. This one's for Stacy Spain, program operations manager. She, her, hers. And Angeline Peterson. So anyway, Stacy Spain is the director of Our Center. I think that's what her job is there. Yeah, Stacy at ourcenter.org. Get back to this. And anyways, in these emails, they go talking about Transgender Day of Remembrance. We can work with Our Center for potential partnerships and programs and events to include our brochure. They're going to have some free meeting rooms. This is from Jeff Scott, the library director. But basically what these emails here show is that the county and Our Center, this nonprofit, were working hand in glove together. Again, this is for you, Ms. Wise. If you take a look at these and just reach out to me and tell me if you don't think that your client, Our Center, was meeting the prongs required by the court to be a state actor. And that's really what these emails here show. So why is it that, you go to court, you'd expect the lawyers to be professional, but when the lawyers won't even talk to you about the issues, they make up a bunch of other fake issues. How does that solve the problem? So Okay, we lost it for a few minutes. Crap. How do we deal with this? Anyways, I'm having power issues here. There's a huge storm going on outside, so I think that's knocking some of my internet down. Anyways, where was I at here? I think I'm trying to share with y'all how messed up this lawsuit is and how messed up these attorneys are. So anyways, in this lawsuit, this is my docket from the case number 324 CV 526. I filed it November 20th, 2024. So it's, a year and a month or so. Oops, what are we doing there? Wants me to sign into some stuff. But shows all the attorneys: Andrew Kobe Burnett, Michael W. Large, Lindsay Liddell, Andrew Kobe Burnett, Rachel Wise. This is the new attorney right here. Alison Kertis, that's the old attorney. That's the one whose employees lied. And this is a new attorney too, Paulina. If I'm saying your name wrong, I apologize. But my hope with the new attorneys coming on is you reach out and you talk to me and we try to resolve the problems. Save the court's time. I think that's how the system's supposed to work. But nobody seems to want to talk to me. Everybody just seems to want to threaten me with cease and desists. But like I was saying, this case is kind of crazy. So September 6th, I think, is the date that this all went crazy. And that's the date that I found out our center had excluded me from a public street and they were using the Reno police to stop me. And then since then, we were on filing 129. I need to refresh that. There have been 2 more filings that I've seen in my emails. So we should be up filing 249. So we're more than one filing per day in this court case. Joinder, responses, all these blue ones I haven't really written. On December 2nd, I had surgery. So I filed an emergency motion to stay proceedings, December 2nd or December 1st. December 1st, I believe it was, yeah. I filed an motion to stay proceedings because, I had some spinal surgery going on there. And so I haven't really seen what all these other things are yet. I'm going to get into these here in the next little while. But anyways, the point is none of these attorneys want to talk to me. They don't want to solve the problem. So I'm just going to kind of lay it out there. Am I meeting the burden of proof under what is required to, or the burden required to show that our center, we got to put our, let's put my green screen thing back up here since that seemed to kick out. There we go. Is it going to work? There's that one there. That's the one I want to use. Just notice that. Okay. Back to the Our Center thing. So these Our Center, it's a private organization, and I've got to prove that they were working hand in glove with the government. They were basically government actors. They were taking over. They were doing the job of the government. I think that's pretty much the burden that I've got to prove. So let's see if I can prove that. And that's where that's where some of these other documents come into play with the emails. Here's the government reaching out to, he reached out to me right after our meeting. Having problems with the computer. I got the spinning wheel of death there. That's not good. That's not good at all. Or what? Maybe it's this thing that's doing it. Just get rid of that thing. But basically, I've got a bunch of emails that show that the government's working with our center Our center is what they call the Rainbow Brigade. And let me show you what the Rainbow Brigade does. The Rainbow Brigade is supposed to be helping with security at public libraries, keeping the people away from the spaces in the public libraries that the Our Center people don't want them to be. So here you got one of the Rainbow Brigade people blocking an elderly lady that's just walking around trying to take a picture. Now she's media, remember that. She's media, right? Now at this event, that's why I put this sign up behind me. So at this event, you see what this sign behind me says, notice of filming and photography. Please be aware that filming and photography is taking place at this event. By attending the event, you are acknowledging your understanding of and confirmation that Build Our Center, Northern Nevada Pride, and their affiliates and agents are permitted to reproduce photograph and video footage featuring your photograph, voice, likeness, and image taken in conjunction with this event. This applies to both printed, film, video, electronic media, including the World Wide Web. Oh my gosh, Our Center. You're taking people's picture and you're putting it on the World Wide Web. So the Rainbow Brigade blocked that person, that elderly gal, from recording. And this is Library Director Jeff Scott right here. See how polite this person is in the Nevada Pride shirt there to this other elderly gal? I think she just needs to use the bathroom. Wasn't that nice? Director Jeff Scott let her use the public restroom in the public library. So was the Pride person there in the Pride shirt that was keeping the elderly lady from using the bathroom? Did she have physical control? And then did Director Scott let the Our Center volunteer person, whatever, give her permission to let this person use the bathroom? There's a big old Our Center shirt right there, keeping guard at the library to keep the public out. And you notice how the Our Center people have their umbrellas up in the public library, just kind of standing guard there. And here the Our Center people are blocking the entrance to the public library. So it wasn't just me they were keeping out of the public library. It was everybody they didn't like. So I guess I just don't understand what the issue is. Did our center work in conjunction with the county government to take over public buildings, a public library, and keep out the public that they chose they didn't like? Should that be happening in our society? I'm going to say no. But why does it take 6 attorneys to go up against one guy like me? Why do these attorneys need to lie, or their employees lie, in my opinion? I mean, I've filed a complaint with the court. Why do they need to lie about where I was and what I was doing? And then they want to give me cease and desist letters when I talk about them making up fake things to send to the court. And I put out my GPS data to show where I actually was. And why do these attorneys not want to talk to me to solve the problem? Why would they rather submit these false documents to the courts instead of talking to me? It's just crazy. So back on to where I was going to go with this. My question for Ms. Wise, Miss Rachel Wise, attorney for our center, I think where things are really kind of messed up for you and your client, in my opinion, is what I'm going to show you right here in this video, because I've got to prove that your client was assuming the role only given to government. And I think this really proves it, because your client trespassed me from a public street, and then they used the government to reaffirm that trespass from a public street based on a political banned list that your client created for people that they did not want to come into this public event. And so I think that's really where you've got your, not only the emails that I've got that shows that you're working as a security in the public libraries, but now your director is banning me from a public event. And that's what this video right here will show. Let's get this over here a little bit. Let's find out where they've got their banned list. So I walked through Pride, tried to go to Pride, and then I came across this guy right here, I think. And I heard this guy. So he said, yes, they've got a list of people that are not allowed. And this guy right here, this guy in the green shirt and green hat, his name is Dr. Alan Ratliff. He's a UNR associate professor or whatever. He's a government employee, and he's also a board member for our center. So we've got a board member here. So he's one of the guys that votes and makes decisions. And so anyways, he tells me there's a banned list, and then Let's see here. Here comes Dr. Alan Ratliff walking up here. Now look where we're standing. You're not welcome here. You'll be trespassed. You'll be banned. We're on a big old public street with a line of people waiting to go into the Pride event. So here's Dr. Alan Ratliff. Here's their security dude that they hired to keep people out that they don't want to have come in. So let's go forward here a little way. So I went over and talked to the cops and asked them if I was on the list. They didn't know if I was on a list, but hey, wait a few minutes. We'll take care of that problem. So anyways, I go down here, talk to some more people, talk to that security dude some more time. He's kind of just dumb. And see here. So I go in. Time to test the band list. Are they going to let me in? Are they going to take my $5? Now remember, this is a 501c3 nonprofit taking donations. Are donations mandatory? Or are donations a donation that's a voluntary thing? So they were requiring mandatory donations to get into this thing. So I paid my money to get in, got a purple fancy wristband, walked through this thing, saw the crazy people, didn't bother anybody. 5 minutes later, remember Dr. Ratliff? Remember this dude right here? That dude with the nose ring. Again, public streets, blocks and blocks and blocks of public streets. And right there, he involved Reno Police Department. Let's see if they're going to reinforce his orders of removing me from a public street. Yep, I wanted my donation back. It was a donation. Remember, donations are voluntary, not mandatory, which means that the whole event was open if they didn't have a mandatory fee. Remember, he told me that I was not allowed there. A board member of a 501c3 nonprofit organization telling me that I'm not allowed on a public street. That's the forum of law enforcement only. And only if you've broken the law. Public streets are public streets. Nobody gets to exclude somebody from a public street. So anyways, we had a nice little walk over there. And then, let's see. Whoops, am I still, nope. Still working here. Still working here. And yeah, he really just wanted to try to intimidate me and push me back, didn't he? That's kind of an interesting picture there. Then these clowns right here. Look at these guys. And this black guy right here, watch him. He got really aggressive. This after he got aggressive right there. This is where this guy They're both getting really aggressive. Let's watch this part here. Now watch this guy. Our property. I'm outside their gate, but they still think it's their property. Behind the fence, he says. Isn't that a fence right behind him? Anyways, these people were just nuts. And then the cops that came along. Let's show where we get the cops here. Cops coming up yet? There's all those dudes that there's the popo. So here we got the government interacting with the private 501c3. Okay, he just called it a closed event, remember? Closed event, that's what he said. If it's a closed event, how come there are open alleys? And there were lots of open alleys, lots of open spaces where you didn't have to pay to go in. Anyways, yeah. So with the emails showing that the government was working with our center, that they were security, that they were closing the libraries to everybody except the people that the libraries and the our center people wanted in, and keeping everybody else out. And then the video showing that. Then you got the videos showing that the board members of our center were creating political ban list of who couldn't be in there on public streets, that they were trespassing people from public streets, and then they were using law enforcement to uphold their trespassing from public streets. Do you think the judge will rule that this 501c3 was acting as a quasi-governmental organization and exercising governmental powers? So, Ms. Rachel Wise, that's really what I'd like to talk about. Do you have a good argument? My argument is your client acted as the government. Show me where they didn't, because I just showed you where they did. Anyways, that's what I wanted to share. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Sorry about the technical hiccups. Like I said, having a huge windstorm here, so things, my computer is tweaking out, going in and out. And have a great Christmas if I don't talk to you back before then.